welcome to another video of Paragon. Now, in this video, I'm just going to go through the patch notes on V44, my thoughts on it, and what we can expect when the patch comes out tomorrow. So let's just begin with the first thing that we see on the screen here is the jungle. Now, they've reworked the jungle. I'm not going to go and watch the video again. Feel free to watch it, links down below. But they have updated the jungle to be more of a jungle, I guess, as in mobile terms. It's giving new objectives, a new layout, focusing on different things. So now we have a new buff that's like a black buff. We'll get into that later, a little bit later down in the patch notes. We have different. We have the new raptor. Now, instead of having three raptors, we got one raptor who's similar to the dragon in League of Legends. If you don't know what that is, pretty much every time you kill him, you're gonna get a buff depending on how many times you've killed the raptor. Your team in general will have more and more of a buff that you can use. So it's a permanent buff every time you defeat them, every time you defeat that raptor. And the downside of this is it's the last hit. So Zetchin is going to be like the key card to be running now. You're gonna have to run Zetchin if you want that bonus. The bonus is good. It's not great, but it does make a difference. And if the opponent team is controlling that raptor, you're gonna have a bad time. And then they've redesigned a little bit of the minion camps, and the jungler has better vision. They kind of open up the middle area, and when you see in the video, you see that there's a little bit more. It feels like more jungle. You feel that it has a little bit more feeling. It has just more feeling to it. I don't know how else to explain it. When you see the video, you kind of see it. And I think once we actually get to play it, I'll put a video out showcasing the update and going through different feels that they added into the jungle. So that's one of the biggest things that they definitely updated in this thing, and the rework in the jungle was highly needed. So I'm very happy to see that. Now they reworked I think it was 5 heroes now. We have Feng Mao that got somewhat reworked. We got Grux who got a decent rework. It's not a huge rework, but he did get reworked. Rampage, he got rid of his get out of jail free card. And in this case, we have Rampage now. He has different things called Rumble. He smashes the ground. He has a little bit more HP regen. We'll get into that a little bit soon. And Gideon now had, instead of his burden, which no one supposedly could land, I had no issues landing it. But it has more of a visual effect now. His rock's been nerfed. His ulti's been buffed and nerfed. Damage output way lower than I expected, but it stuns. I take the damage over the stun, but we'll see how this plays out as well. And then finally, they actually updated a carry. I am very happy to see this. Twin Blast's update is quite unique, and I'm very excited to try him out. I'm a person that loves carries. I hands down just love Sparrow. Best carry is my favorite carry, hands down. Drongo's my next, and then Twin Blast comes after that. So, and then let's keep going down. And the final thing before we get into the full notes is they went through and redesigned everything for the HUD. So that, as you can see here, we have UI for all of our teammates. We have their mana bars. Looks like we also have a little dot showing if their ultimates are up or down. We have a count seeing how many times you killed the raptor. So you can see on the right for the enemy team as well. So you have a different objectives and stuff on you. So it's pretty nice to see. You have the buffs on the left, so it gives you more of a feel, cards and pips, and your gems. The feel looks kind of nice. I'm not a fan of the glowiness of the HP bars, but maybe we can modify that. Let's keep going. New skins, no one cares about that right now. So, some of the stuff that they did, they've buffed and modified some of the heroes. Let's keep going on. So the Feng Mao rework. So now his new passive is replacing Hamstring, and now after 4 successful hits or 20 seconds, his blade will glow. His next basic attack will deal damage in a wider arc, applying movement speed slow, dealing damage. With abilities will also trigger the slow. So you can kind of combo his new passive with his blink strike that he has. So that's kind of cool. Okay, so his ulti, I'm not a fan of this. Now they're kind of doing more special effects to make it easier for people, which I understand why to make it easier, but there's a limit to how easy we can make this, right? So now pretty much if you watch the video, you can see there's this little mark on Sparrow when he's going to and that mark actually tells you oh, you can use your ulti to kill me in one hit, and his ulti will execute now the person that is below a certain health threshold. So if you're below 555 plus power rating, I'm not really sure what that means, but if that's additional power, that means he's going to be hitting you for 650 HP, and he'll one-shot you, and it goes in a straight line. That's a little bit too much in my opinion, but we'll see how it plays out. If it only hit one person, I wouldn't mind, but the fact that it hits everything in a line, that makes him really strong and really dangerous to be almost OP and broken in some fashion if people can line up his ulti. His blink, they talked about removing ways of escaping, but they kind of buffed his, which kind of felt like so they remove Grux, they remove Steel, but then they go ahead and buff Feng Mao's blink. Not really sure what they were going with this, but they increase the range and reduce cooldown, so that's a huge buff in my opinion. One that was really not needed. This was needed. I think 60 mana would have been better than 50. His shield is just too strong, honestly. And basic mana. This was needed. His movement speed was too fast. Base regen, nerf. Okay, it's fine. Gideon, now this is a big update that people are waiting for. Now, during the community corner, he talks about his Q and changing the Q. They didn't change the Q, it's exactly the same, but what they did change was only his right click and his ulti. So his right click now throws projectiles into like a circle range and hits anything in that area, and then that's going to be your primary combo damage and that AoE hit. Now now you can see this Q has been really nerfed. His level at max level he was doing 439. Now it's 275. Applying a slow for the damage decrease, that's a huge hit. While you're getting a big void breach from your right click, I just don't feel like that was necessary. They could have kept both skills similar ability damage instead of making one super low and one super high. His ulti, again, they reduced the damage on it before. It doesn't now. Now it really is just not going to do any damage. They increased how long it's on cooldown for, and they reduced the damage almost by 200. That's a lot, even if you're stunning all your targets. 384 damage is not that much to be using it, and right now it barely does enough damage, and now they're going to reduce it even more. I think Gideon's going to be in a weird spot while his right click and his Q is going to be doing decent amount of damage. His stun's going to be doing a lot. I think that cooldown reduction and the damage reduction on his ulti is going to be a definite issue. So Grux, I think, is a unique setup here. His whole rework is kind of neat. I definitely approve of what they did to it. Also, I don't approve it. First thing I noticed in the video is that his new ability, Crush, is exactly similar to Crunch's Uppercut, just different character animations. But the animation is exactly the same. Still an uppercut. Does exactly the same style. Wasn't too impressed with how it looked, but I'm glad they did something with it. We'll see how it plays out. 250 units. It could play out pretty nice. The knock up, the short duration, it could be cool. 12 seconds seems like a little bit long though. Kind of be nice to have it go down as it levels up. His double pain increasing up to 8 seconds. That's a nice little nerf, but his damage increase being how much it hits is definitely nice. So at the same time, you're getting a ton more damage while a longer cooldown. Fair enough. His smasher grab, same as normal, just bigger range now. His ulti now has the basic bonus damage when you press it. There's no more stun. Now he gains 50, 100, and 150% bonus damage as a percentage. So more damage he already has. He's going to hit like a truck. He really is going to hit like a truck. You see a Grux, so you don't want to be fighting him straight up if he has his ulti on. And nice little bonus and updates to his general kit. Murdoch, his buckshot got upgraded, so that's kind of nice. His range, his normal attack got upgraded, so that's nice as well. So that's good to see. Rampage here this was definitely needed on Rampage. They had to get rid of his pounds. It was a just get out of jail free card, especially for Rampage being able to jump over everything. So this was definitely a nice upgrade. The apply slow when he hits the ground, so that's nice. Definitely you can see that. This was definitely needed. Rampage can now hold the boulder until it's canceled or thrown. He slowed while moving with the boulder, which makes sense, but no longer costs mana if you cancel the ability, and lower mana costs. Definitely needed. Passive jungle HP regen. I don't think this was needed. I think this is too much. I think this is going to make him really, really powerful, especially for teams that do not run Blight. His bonus damage from 5 to 8 seconds. Again, I don't think it was honestly needed. I think this is going to be too much. His ultimate regenning increase. I think they went way overboard in this. 3% early was kind of pathetic. I can see that being upgraded. But the end was almost doubled. His 11%. I know they're trying to counter Blight in some fashion, but this is honestly too much. They need to lower that back down. I think this is going to really make him so strong and just blown out of proportion. So we'll let the play out that, see how it plays out. And just basic increases. Now, Twin Blast, his kit is kind of neat. I really like it. So now he has a passive. After hitting 12 basic attacks, the next 12 basic attacks will critically strike for 10, 15, 20, 25 bonus damage, and it's guaranteed to only work on heroes or towers. This meaning is if I shot a minion with my 12 next basic, one of my basic attacks, and it's supposed to crit. In this case, it won't. It won't take one of those basic attacks from me. It only works on heroes and or structures. So that's cool to see. His double shot now, they kind of nerfed and balanced him out because before you could right click and get OP militia and it was kind of weird. So now double shot, his right gun applies on hit effects, does 75% of his normal damage, while his left gun does not and does 25% of his normal basic damage. Is it a nerf? Is it a buff? We'll see. I definitely like this increase. I like his new kit. I think this is a good way for more carries to go. Now his grenade now applies a slow. I think that was highly needed. Still three charges. What's cool about his grenade is now when you rocket dash, you gain you gain one charge of grenade. So his rocket dash still the same cooldown speed, meaning you can dash grenade, dash grenade, dash grenade, perma slowing somebody trying to kite them. He's going to be a super new kit to actually kiting for once in Paragon, and I think this kit is going to give him a very fun time to see, and people are going to have a blast with the new Twin Blast. See what I did there? Anyway, moving down the line here into the cards. I'll go into the Call of the Week, and what they're saying is no longer executes minions. They just have a threshold. I'll go into that in a minute. I like this. I think this was highly needed, and I'll explain why. Uh, Not really caring about the curse cards too much myself. The reduction in gold that you're losing is kind of nice, so this card could become more useful if you're pushing to end the game by 15 minutes. Static Trap, 50 ability damage, nothing too special. Thorn Yomi now applies reflect damage properly. This was definitely needed. I mean, Thorn Yomi for me was not working correctly. If I put it into my slot number 2, it wouldn't run. I couldn't press it. It wouldn't work no matter what I did. So I had to put it on 1 and 3, and even then sometimes it never even activated. But at least now we know it's reflecting. I've seen it work sometimes. I've seen it not work sometimes. So I'm hoping that they got it right finally. Let's hope. And Tireless Reaper, the mana cost wouldn't be reduced if you purchase it dead. I'm glad they fixed that. They changed movement speed, slows, and speed boosts to be all flat values to comparable percentages. That's good to see. And they fixed Ray Zone. Cool. So let's go down. So one of the things that they're redesigning again is the minion, how the last hit in Paragon. And one of the biggest things was the critical last hit threshold moment, meaning whenever the minion gets below a certain threshold of HP, you'll be notified in some way that you like, shoot me now and it will die. You will gain the last hit. They're trying to make it easier to not make Paragon one of the other MOBAs that are similar to, okay, can I hit it? Can I hit it? Wait for it. Okay, I got it. They're trying to make it easier. They want you to hit the minions, farm as fast as you can, and get to fighting and pushing the lanes. They want the gameplay to go a little bit faster and a little bit smoother, and not I'm holding lane, I'm freezing lane, I need to know if I can shoot the minion, did I miss the last hit, stuff like that. They're trying to modify that. And I think this is going to be kind of nice, and I really hope that people take this as an opportunity to expand what they could expect in Paragon, that it is not Dota, it's not League of Legends. So I do like this, and I hope others will give it a chance to grow on them. Increase HP, so that's nice. Makes it a little bit harder to take, not too much more. Ability damage no longer damages towers. That was definitely needed. Core rework shoots one target instead of a blast. Could be nice. It's dealing 320 damage per attack. Attack speed still scales how many inhibitors are destroyed, so that's kind of cool. And it does focus heroes over minions if you're trying to defend and someone's attacking you in the core. So that's definitely a nice thing. So this, I think this will prevent Wukong or somebody else from trying to backdoor you because it does so much damage. Now 320, if you have all your inhibitors down and tries backdooring, it might not do so much damage. So we'll see how that plays out. New the new buff that they added, the new black buff on the offlane side. So now this buff now gives Hunter Sight. Pretty much you can see enemy heroes around you, but they can't be hidden. No shadow plane, and you slow movement speed of enemy heroes you attack. Simple and easy, just like the other, just like the old style. Definitely was needed. I definitely like this this little slow. This used to be. I'm pretty sure this was in one of the back in Legacy somewhere, but this was definitely needed. And I think this is going to be a nice little offlane jungle buff that allows the offlane to take those jungle camps and still be in lane without having to be frozen out of lane. So this is kind of nice, and it gives him a little bit of a breathing space. Now they replaced. This is replacing the three raptor camp that was there beginning that really didn't have any purpose anymore. So now we have one raptor named Fangtooth. He's similar to League of Legends Dragon. As every time your team kills him, you get different stacks. Like the first kill is 1,000 gold, second kill is movement speed, so forth and so on. So controlling it will give you a slight advantage, especially for non-hero damage. So now you can hit towers harder, minions harder, prime harder. So that is a bonus. You have the power increase. That's a bonus. I think they could tweak it a little bit better than what they gave us, but I think they just wanted to push it out and kind of just let it be there, and we'll update it as we go. So definitely very excited for this, for competing for Fangtooth and the competition and making people actually force fight and run Zetchin and stuff like that. It's going to be a really competitive scene now where we have to control the jungle, we have to control rivers, people need to run ward, stuff like that's going to be very, very much needed in this case. So I'm really excited for that. Now they updated the names of the buffs. So we now, black buff's Hunter Sight, green buff is Shield of Zetchin, so forth and so on. In all honesty, we're still going to call them the colors. But hey, at least they have names now. 2 thumbs up for Paragon on that. And moving down the UI, I'm going to go through the UI in tomorrow's update when they release it so I can see more and actually mess around with it more myself. But I do want to point out one thing is that they did update the drafting. They just renamed the positions to actual offlane, mid, support, jungle, and carry, and then any. So that's kind of cool. And then last but not least, the gameplay system. They've fixed movement speed slows. So movement slows no longer stack on each other. So that Iggy that would perma slow you can never catch, or that Gideon would always slow you, but now it's a stun. But you can't be slowed permanently anymore. Meaning, if I have a 50% slow and a 20% slow, I'm slowed for 50% first, and then the remaining time is I'm slowed for that 20%. So in this case, I can't be slowed for more than 3 seconds. So the total amount of time I'm slowed for is still 3 seconds. I'm just slowed for less after the 50%. So that's kind of nice to see. This was highly needed. Iggy was just perma-slowing people. He was just like, you couldn't get to him. And unless you had some type of CC to stop him from running around, it was a pain. This this was highly needed, and we're going to see a nice update to this because now carries can at least kite a little bit better. We're going to see a nice little update to this. I think this is a good feel for Paragon. I think this is going to push us towards the to get away from perma CC stacking and get us to where we can, if I get stunned 3 times back to back, I'm immune to stun for 2 seconds, or I'm immune to CC for 2 seconds, cleansing me, or something simple, something similar to that, so that we can't be perma CC'd every time when teams just have that kind of build. So I would like to see some counterplay to CC a little bit better, and I would also like to see that another solution for regen that's not specific to I need play Lord Malik or I need Wound Seeker. They need to increment something else that can stop HP regening. I'm not sure what it is yet, but that's for them to figure out. If I figure out something as a solution, I'll post it. But needless to say, the rest of the stuff is just the basic AI tutorial, some extra stuff here, nothing too fancy. So in the end, this is V44. I'm really excited for it. I'm going to be having it downloaded for tomorrow. And if you're all excited for it, please make sure you leave a comment below. And if you liked what you're listening to, hit that subscribe button. And like always, take it easy.